Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World, and it is the Vermont State Quarter. There it is right there. The silver version in a proof 65 is worth about $10. Copper nickel clad copper version here is worth $4 to $5. Philadelphia coins mint state 65, it's worth about $6 to $7. Vermont 1791, which is the date that they entered the Union. 2001 at the bottom, which was the date the coin was made. Freedom and Unity over here under the right branch here. E pluribus unum under the 2001. And there is a man with a scarf in the middle, and he is collecting sap from maple trees. And these are called sap buckets here. And then in the background is Camel's Hump Mountain in Vermont. Freedom and Unity, of course, is the motto of Vermont. And right over here, kind of a stylized TJF, and that's for T. James Farrell, who engraved the back of a number of these coins, including the Kentucky coin, which was the 15th. Vermont was the 14th to come out, and actually they came out in the order in which the states entered the Union. This is the Denver version, and you can see it has a D here. This is the front, United States of America, George Washington facing to the left. $quarter underneath George Washington, and there's the D a little bit better. In God we trust behind him. We tip this up and we can see that it is the copper nickel plated copper version. The Denver version in 2001, they made 459.4 million of these Denver coins. They also made them in Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia version pretty much exactly the same except for the P right here. Same reverse and everything. And this is one of the reverses on the state quarters that actually really stays together very well as it gets worn. So some of the Vermont ones just look really good even though they're older. And of course this one's over 20 years old already. The P here, they made 423.4 million at the Philadelphia Mint. And then the shiny one that we saw, of course, you know that's the San Francisco Mint because it's clearly a proof coin. But the question is, which proof coin is it? Is it the silver mint coin, which it sure looks like, or is it the copper nickel clad copper mint coin? We flip it up and we see it's a copper nickel clad copper, but this is a spectacular version of that coin. So this came from the San Francisco Mint in a mint set. They made two versions. They made a silver version, and then they made this copper nickel clad copper. And gracious, is this a beauty. United States of America on the top of this one, everything's the same except for the S right here. And the S for the San Francisco Mint, where they made 3,094,140 of these coins. The silver version, they only made 889,000. So in terms of value, the silver version in a proof 65 is worth about $10. The copper nickel clad copper version here is worth $4 to $5. If you can get one of these Philadelphia coins in an MS 65, mint state 65, it's worth about $6 to $7, as is the Denver mint coin. If you want to get real high value on these coins, you've got to go up to MS 67 or so, and then you're getting into the hundreds. The problem with these coins in terms of value is that people collected these immediately when they first came out, and that was the whole point. There's all kinds of these that have never been circulated, even though they're in general circulation. So when you look at these, if you can find one of these that looks similar to this without the Washington, see how they, on the mint coins, they do the figurehead with a different kind of polish, almost like a sandpaperish polish to get that. Some people call it a matte finish. I'm not sure if this is really technically a matte finish, but it has that look to it. So Vermont, I thought Vermont was one of the original 13 states. Well, it wasn't. Vermont was 14th. It came into the Union on March 4th, 1791, about a year after Rhode Island. Vermont actually had been a part of New York, and it broke off from Quebec, broke off from New Hampshire. It broke off in the end from New York, And in January 1791, they had a convention, a constitutional convention in Vermont, in which they ratified the United States Constitution and said that as soon as Vermont is brought into the Union, Vermont will be a state. And then on March 4th, they actually came into the Union, March 4th, 1791. So it's funny because they ratified the Constitution in January 1791. And February 18th, Congress decided to admit them. And 2 weeks later, March 4th, 1791, Vermont became a state of the Union, the 14th state. So just after Rhode Island, just before Kentucky, and it may very well have been that Vermont came in because of Kentucky, because they were very worried about slavery. And Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana were all in line and all allowed slavery. And Ohio, too, were all in line. And so Vermont came in as kind of a counterweight to some of the slave states that they were about to admit to the Union. Because even from the beginning, Americans were very concerned about whether slavery should be allowed and whether slavery could allow the Union to continue. All right, so what do we have? Well, we have the S, we have the P, and we have the D. There is also a silver mint set version of this S, which is the most expensive of all the Vermont State quarters. All right, have a great day from DC Coin World, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channels and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.